Should you learn multiple languages at once or focus on just one? We're going to look at when it is advantageous to learn multiple languages simultaneously and when it is more beneficial to focus on just one. Of course, it's ultimately up to you to decide your study approach. But if you are learning your second language, it is probably to your advantage to start with just that one language because it is a bit overwhelming just learning a new language in and of itself for the first time. Now, if you're learning another language, a third, fourth, fifth, so on language, then you might start to play with multiple languages at once. This can look like starting a couple languages at the same time. It can look like starting your second language, getting that to an intermediate level, and then layering on another language. And those languages can be similar to each other, like Spanish and French, or they can be completely different, like Spanish and Japanese. There are advantages to the ways that you pair your languages, pairing similar languages, which is how people tend to learn multiple languages at once when they are similar languages, to do them actually simultaneously. And then when you learn them at once, when you're studying multiple languages, it's often languages at different degrees of fluency because your languages are not all going to be the same level of fluency. They're just not. Learning multiple languages is also a bit slower than learning just one language to focus on because you are splitting up your time over multiple languages. So this is a little bit of an overview of learning multiple languages at once. Now we're going to go specifically into 3 topics to help you decide which is more appropriate for you, whether it's your second or more languages. Our first one is, why am I learning these languages? You want to have your foundation set, knowing that, okay, I am learning this language because it is for my work. I'm learning it because I'm a language student. I'm learning it because I just want to do it as a hobby. Whatever your reason is, have that clarity around why you are learning. And then from there, you can decide, okay, do I actually need multiple languages? Or do I maybe just need 1 or 2 foreign languages? From there, we can go into our second consideration, which is how much time do you have to learn a language? If you're learning your language for work and you have a full-time job, you might not have so much time for learning a language. And it takes a lot of time to learn a language. It takes hundreds of hours over the course of several years to become fluent in that language. So you want to make sure that you actually have the time that you need to be successful with your goals for your language learning. If you're a full-time worker and you want to learn another language, you might start with just the one that you actually need and dedicate an hour each day to practicing and slow and steady and build up your fluency in that language, and then maybe add on another one later on. Whereas if you are a language student, then you are learning languages for your career. This is different because you're spending all day, every day, learning languages. You'll still want to focus your languages on the ones that you actually need, but your time is so much more for what you can practice. You're spending, 6+ hours each day, and you are likely already well versed in a couple languages, so you can learn simultaneously. You can learn 2 similar languages, or you might choose to learn one language to an intermediate level and then add on another beginner language and get that one going a little bit, and then add on another one and get that one going a little bit, and then have some maintenance time on all of your languages for a while, because your languages do all require maintenance. And once you learn them, if you leave them alone for some time, they will decline in how well you can use them. So it's a constant juggling act to manage all of those languages. The time is a huge consideration in what is appropriate for you personally learning multiple languages or just a second one. Third consideration is, will I enjoy spending my time this way? This is important because it's the process over product theory, that this is something that you are essentially adding to your identity of, I am a speaker of this language, you're becoming a speaker of that language. And while you won't always be in there studying that language, eventually you'll get to a point where you're satisfied with, and you might still want to improve, or you might decide to just stay at that point, just maintain. So it'll change. You won't be doing the same thing all the time. But you do still want to enjoy the process. You want to enjoy using that language. And if you don't, you want to have a very good reason that you are still learning that language, even though you don't enjoy it. That is our consideration as well for multiple languages. Are you learning multiple languages because you enjoy doing it, or have a very intense need for learning all of those languages? You still should find some enjoyment within doing that, even if it's for your career. If not, then you might want to reconsider your career. But within learning all of those languages, is it because you want to, or is it because you just want to be a person who speaks those languages? It's a big commitment for something that you don't enjoy doing. So really check on, how will I actually feel spending hours, hundreds of hours, practicing this language to get to fluency? Is this something that I'm willing to do and to find ways to enjoy doing? Those are our three main considerations for learning multiple languages: is why you're learning, how much time you actually have, and whether you enjoy learning languages, spending that much time in your practice. From there, you can go into creating your own process within your language learning, and that is really centered on your motivation for mastering that language, getting creative and being diligent with your practice, so that eventually, after some years, you'll reach the level of fluency that you desire to achieve within that language. That is it for multiple languages. Any questions, comments, leave them down below, and the link to the blog is down below as well. And I'll see you guys back here next time. Bye!